everyone is able to create a lending pool on FluidTokens. What does it mean? It means that they can decide how much Bitcoin they want to lend against an ordinal collection.
The Bitcoin community, is really keen to embrace this permission and solution, because we are all about financial freedom, freedom of speech, and you want to be in control of any action, but also your action and obviously your transaction. So I'm sure there will be lots of momentum building as you release your product.
So you can potentially lose your money not because of your fault, but because of somebody else. And here we jumped in and say, we can create solutions that are actually allowing the user to be safe and not they don't need to depend on us, for example, in order to move their own money. They always have control of their own money, Bitcoin and rooms. This is where we started playing around, and we say, we can definitely do that.
I'm really excited about this new FinancialFox show that we are doing with the founders of FluidTokens. So the topic is super hot, is True DeFi on Bitcoin. So joining me today is Matteo Coppola and Raul Rosa, co-founders of FluidToken. And FluidToken is the first 100% permissionless lending protocol that support all assets on Bitcoin. So rooms, BRC20 and ordinals, along with all the major BTC wallets. And those guys, Raul and Matteo, they are Italian and they are breaking the rules. They are building something super exciting that is all about innovating within the Bitcoin ecosystem. So I thought, let's get together and let's discuss what is innovation in DeFi on Bitcoin. So it's going to be a super exciting series of episodes. And what we are going to do today, what I thought was a good idea, was actually to get them on the show, introduce themselves, and also dive a little bit deeper into why they got to Bitcoin, what they are building. So, you can get kind of like a nice introduction of, all the guests and the participants of this show. For the next one, I will invite some of the leading game changers in the Bitcoin space, and we can all have a discussion about what's new on Bitcoin. We are going to focus perhaps on some aspect of big DeFi on Bitcoin that is not talking enough or needs some kind of explanation. So obviously, if you have any question, if there is anything that you want us to focus on, please send me an email at steffi@financialfox.news or hit me on Twitter, or even you can leave a comment on the YouTube section, comment section. So, we know what you want us to discuss, but it's going to be a very exciting show. And I think there is really needed for, more discussion, more education within the Bitcoin space, because so much is happening. From ordinals to BRC20 to runes right now, layer 2. So I think the Bitcoin space has been, booming. Really, this crypto cycle has been all about innovation in the Bitcoin space, and is really, really exciting. So without further ado, let's get into the show. But before we do that, remember that all the content on the show is for information only. We don't give any financial or investment advice. So that's very important. Do your own due diligence. Financial markets are very volatile. When it comes to crypto, then it's even more risky. So you need to be up to speed. You need to do your own research. You need to dedicate time to understand the platform, the counterparty that you are using, that you are interacting with, in order to make informed decision. And, be careful about your capital, because, financial markets are risky and crypto is even more risky. Raul, Matteo, great to have you here. How are you doing?
Super. What about you, Stefania?
Yeah, I'm great. And I'm really excited about, this new show that we are going to be doing, discussing everything that is happening within, the Bitcoin space, which is so creative right now. There is a lot of happening. And you are developing some really interesting products. So without further ado, I would really like for you to introduce yourself so our audience, get familiar with your background, what you have been working on, and obviously about the exciting product that you are building.
Sure. My name is Raul, and I am the CTO of FluidTokens. FluidTokens is a DeFi ecosystem that is now new also on Bitcoin. And our vision is to launch services that can be most permissionless as possible. What does it mean? It means that users on our platform can interact with each of our services without having to delegate their funds to us or ask permission to interact with it to us. In a similar way, like in other chains you have smart contracts, in our platform you can interact with your Bitcoin, with your tokens, ordinals, and so on, in a way that is permissionless. And this is innovative in the Bitcoin space. I've been studying Bitcoin in the last months and happy to be a new developer in this ecosystem. My experience in the past Web3 has been able to help me a lot learning and understanding how to develop in the best way on Bitcoin.
Hey everyone, yes, I'm Matteo, I'm the CEO of FluidTokens, and Raul pretty much introduced the whole vision we have about what we do and we've been doing for the last years. Is we basically focus on innovation and trying to do things that people haven't done yet. And I have a long history as a software developer with more than 16 years of coding experience. I'm a cloud architect as well, and I've been working on smart contracts and technology and blockchain in general for officially, let's say, 5 years. And yes, so we're very happy to be here, and we are very happy to have started working in the Bitcoin space. And what we are building is something very, I say, experimental, because nobody even tried to do it before. But what we're trying to do is to basically not remove the original philosophy of permissionless, of owning your tokens, etc. So because otherwise it's easy to compromise and go back to the Web 2 version of the financial technology.
FinancialFox is proud to partner with HIVE Digital Technologies, a public listed company focusing on building the green energy infrastructure for the AI revolution. HIVE was the first crypto miner to go public in Canada in 2017. They are also listed on Nasdaq and the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. They hodl, and they are a leader in efficient Bitcoin mining with the best hash rate realization in the industry. Their operational powered by green energy, hydropower in Sweden and Canada, and geothermal in Ireland. HIVE was also the first crypto miner to buy GPUs, chips, and have an AI strategy. And that's very exciting considering the AI data center are such a high profitable business. Finally, and most importantly, HIVE care about shareholders. That's why their strategy is low dilution, low G&A, and focus on cash flow. If you don't know HIVE, check them out at hivedigitaltechnology.com and follow them on social media. Remember, AI is the future and Bitcoin is rising as a new asset class. Some analysts have a target price above $100,000 for 2024, but let's see. For now, we hodl, and don't forget to check out HIVE. More information in the description. Exactly. And I'm so excited. I'm here with, two fellow Italians. This is going to be so cool. And, obviously, Italian, we are great. We are so innovative. We want to break the rule. But, it's like, it's really, I'm really excited about this show that we are going to be hosting about True DeFi on Bitcoin. And Matteo, you were the one that said, oh, Steph, this is really the title. And, we are really degen. And I'm so excited actually that we are going to focus on Bitcoin. And you even on your journey, because Matteo, I know you for some times. And I remember you have been already on the show with Tim Brookman from IMX. So you have been in the crypto space for quite some time. And you have done lots of work on the Cardano ecosystem, which I did as well. So it's nice to see that we are all coming to Bitcoin, with this mission to innovate and at the same time educate, because that is going to be a big part of this show. So yeah, exciting times. Right. Let's maybe start with this question, why from Cardano to Bitcoin?
So basically, Cardano and Bitcoin are one of probably the two major, like Bitcoin for sure is the first, but Cardano is the second major UTXO-based blockchain. So the architectural model where that the blockchain uses underneath is almost the same, and it's pretty different from the EVM world where you have account-based blockchains. So the visibility of the blockchain status when you work on the smart contract, on the logic side of the transactions, is different. You have to know how to actually manipulate this data to obtain the result you want. In Cardano case, there's an actual smart contract that allows this. In Bitcoin case, there is script logic and off-chain cryptography that together they allow a sort of behavior similar to smart contract, which is decentralized at the same level. And yeah, so this is the similarities between the architecture underneath that makes Cardano and Bitcoin very compatible, basically, even more from a developer perspective like us. And it gives us a very unfair advantage compared to any developers that is used to EVM or account model, because it basically a completely change on how you have to think when you create logic for the blockchain itself. So you see UTXO, so inputs and outputs that you can spend and somebody else can spend, but you don't see a global state with the traditional Ethereum environment. So where you see variables of everybody, information of everybody at that time when the smart contract is running. So the similarities allows us to quickly and smoothly move from Cardano to Bitcoin and develop cool things on both blockchains.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you here because, our audience, obviously there are a lot of like crypto enthusiasts and, people that know what they're doing, they do DeFi, they buy NFTs, but some, they might be kind of like new to the space. So let's play a game on the UTXO model. And if we can kind of compare it with the Ethereum model. So let's say that we are all like participants of the UTXO model. Right? How does it work?
If you are on UTXO, I like to say like this. UTXO model is more similar to our wallets, like the ones that we use in our daily life. Because if we open our wallets, we have some coins with different value on top of it. And while instead on Ethereum, it's like more a credit card model, because you have a total balance. And so on UTXO, when you go out and pay with your coins, with your money, you get something in exchange, like some change for that payment, because maybe you're not using all that pay. While on the Ethereum account model, you just pay the amount that you want to spend and it subtract from your total balance. So this is something really useful to understand how UTXO works, because you have in your Bitcoin wallet, you have many UTXOs with different coins on it, and when you spend them, you put them together, but you are going to get some change, some UTXO change for that payment.
And this kind of like bring us, it just made me thinking about rooms, and it was all about how we can actually move this change in a way that they don't get wasted, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It works exactly in the same way. Like this is why Runes is the first UTXO fungible token protocol to be fully UTXO compatible on Bitcoin. Like you work exactly in this way. You have a balance of runes, but you can split them up in some UTXOs, so you can have, let's say, different coins with different values of the same rune, maybe, and send them around, play with them. It's easy to send, let's say, multiple outputs in the same transaction. Let's say that I want to send some rune to you, I want to send some rune to Matt. I can do it in the same transaction thanks to UTXO model.
Okay. I think there is so much that we are going to be unpacking about runes over the next episode. But going back to, you move from Cardano to Bitcoin because of this UTXO model. And then you said, right, there is something missing here, right? And I know that the Bitcoin space is all kind of like booming. There is no experimentation right now. We are very early stage. But what did you find being, something that you could, okay, here we are going to be as FluidTokens, and here we are going to disrupt. What did you identify as an opportunity to disrupt and to be the leader as well?
The thing is, when you go into the blockchain space, right? We work in the blockchain space in general. We don't want to think, oh, we belong to a certain blockchain. We just want to belong to any blockchain that offers innovation and good use cases for the users, for people that use blockchain. And when we went to Bitcoin, right, we say, oh, Bitcoin is such first of all, a very liquid market because Bitcoin is the first cryptos, obviously. And but the thing was like there is no real. There are very few people in the Bitcoin space that are able to understand the language, the script language, so the Bitcoin programming language, basically, and use it in a way that allows user to actually be completely permissionless, so not having to give their money to somebody else, and at the same time being able to use some financial services in DeFi. So I'm referring to the lending as we started, and now in the DEX that we are releasing. And like if you check the other solutions that are around, they are very centralized. There is always a compromise where you have to give at one point the permission to spend your money to somebody else, or they need to allow you to get your money back, for example. So there is a risk that if something goes wrong, and I'm not saying that they are malicious user, but people can hack those platforms, steal, for example, the wallet passphrase, etc. And so you can potentially lose your money, not because of your fault, but because of somebody else. And here we jumped in and say, oh, but we can do, we can create solutions that are actually allowing the user to be safe and not they don't need to depend on us, for example, in order to move their own money. They can always have control of their own money, Bitcoin and runes. This is where we started playing around, and we say, oh, we can definitely do that. We just need sometimes a little extra steps to ensure that there is no centralized party that can do malicious stuff. And so we started developing, and we saw that the script was sound. We published on the paper so people could see our code, so people can trust us. And yes, so it's slowly people are now understanding that on Bitcoin, even if there are no smart contracts in the literal term, now you can have decentralized logic that is safe to use for lending and now also swapping.
Great. So can you maybe like mention some of the options that are out there, even, those centralized one option that, they are still good because there is not so much out there, but they are also risky. So what they would be, who they are?
Yes, so on the Bitcoin space right now, well, it's a very early ecosystem, and I think that the dApps that are around are not that many. This is why also it's a good opportunity for new developers to come and deploy and release new services. So as options right now, for instance, I think that the most commonly known are Magic Eden or Liquidium, for instance, for the lending space, while Magic Eden is permissionless, so they don't have control on your funds and so on. Liquidium instead use an oracle, is similar to a multi-signature approach. So in that case, while lending and borrowing is happening, you always require a signature coming from them, for instance, to interact with the platform. And I think that the approach is good if you think that there are no smart contracts on Bitcoin. So it's, let's say, the first step to achieve lending and borrowing. But there are also some ways to achieve it completely permissionless. So avoiding any signature coming from the platform itself, allowing always the users to be in control. Lenders and borrowers can interact with the platform, and they are, even if let's say the website it goes offline one day because something happens, they can still interact with the blockchain and claim back the funds because everything is permissionless and doesn't rely on our website, so let's say.
And I think the Bitcoin space and the Bitcoin community, is really keen to embrace this permission and solution, because we are all about freedom, financial freedom, freedom of speech, and you want to be in control of any action, but also your action and obviously your transaction. So I'm sure there will be lots of momentum building as you release your product. So maybe tell us where you are, what you have been developing, what is coming out, what is already out, what people can do. Let's give a good overview of where you are on Bitcoin with Fluid Token Solutions.
Sure. So what's happening right now? Like right now, we have launched our lending protocol and it's live. We are still polishing a bit the fees on the network level because, as you maybe remember, during the halving, the network fee spiked. So during that period, using Bitcoin network was kind of hard, and we want to make it better, like tailoring. The users can tailor and decide the transaction speed according to his needs in the platform. But everyone is able to create a lending pool on FluidTokens. What does it mean? It means that they can decide how much Bitcoin they want to lend against an ordinal collection. Let's say that I am into It's a Ninjas. I really like them. I would like to get one, but maybe I can't because I don't have enough liquidity. So I provide liquidity for borrowers to use them against their Pizza Ninjas. So they can borrow my Bitcoin using their Pizza Ninjas. And in case they default, I will get it, the ordinal. And otherwise, I will get interest over that loan. So lenders can create lending pools while borrowers can see in our platform what's live. They can pick the pool of the collections that they own and borrow the amount they need. It's really innovative because borrowers can borrow using many ordinals in the same interaction, and being a pool lending ecosystem, borrowers are interacting with multiple lenders at the same time. This means that if I have 10 Pizza Ninjas and there are 10 lenders in that pool, I am actually borrowing from 10 people at the same time. And this is really using the efficiency of Bitcoin at the maximum. And also it ensures that you can optimize at most your transactions. You don't want to do many transactions on Bitcoin because you are going to pay a lot of fees otherwise. And so this is what we have launched. Right now we are today we are actually going to release the first version of our order book DEX for runes. And this is really new because right now there is no DEX for runes on layer 1 on Bitcoin. And why? Because it's really a challenge, this. You can actually trade them now on Magic Eden or Unisats, for instance, but the experience is very similar to a marketplace. Like you list a bulk of runes there for a price and someone can purchase it. What instead we want is creating the possibility to trade the amount of runes you want at the best price in that month. So we are going to release today our pre-market. Trading will not be live yet, but our aim is to release it, to set it live before end of the month, or at most in the first week of June. And so people will be able to create offers or offering runes for a certain price, or the contrary. You can offer Bitcoin for runes at a certain price. And these two sides will kind of meet at a certain point, and that's going to be the market.
Okay, so this is actually quite exciting. I mean, when the halving happened and the few days after, I was etching runes, I was buying runes, and I think many in the Bitcoin space have been kind of play around with runes, and in order to kind of like this market to flourish, then you need the places where you can exchange, you can trade, and it looks like that you are really at the forefront with your product. So how long is going to take to kind of for the DEX to be fully functional? How long do you think is going to take?
Yes, so I would say 1 month from now it's going to be 100% functional. What does it mean? It means that we are going to release it in actually 3 steps. So today is the first step where people can create this offer or purchase or sell runes, and it's using, when you connect your wallet, the DApp can check your actual balance of Bitcoin or runes, and so you can create only offers that actually you could afford. Like, I can't make a sell offer of a rune that I don't know. So this is the first thing. The second step instead is going to be the peer-to-peer trade. What does it mean? It means that if I want to sell or purchase a rune right now without having to wait to create my own listing, I can do it because I can already see what's the current listing for selling and or buying. I can send my transaction, and the lister, the seller or the buyer, is going to be notified using email notification, using DApp notifications, and at that point he's going to be able to confirm the swap, and that's when the exchange is happening. So this is the second step. The third step instead is I call it market trading. What does it mean? It means that I'm not just anymore trading peer-to-peer, like looking for the best offer at the amount I want, but I could potentially trade with every seller or buyer that is in the market on FluidTokens at that moment. So I can really optimize making multiple transactions in one interaction. So the volumes at that point are going to be able to really flow in a seamless way, and the experience will be similar to any DEX that you have currently on any blockchain.
Great. Do you have like, no, I'm not saying, I don't want to say a model or like a DEX that you have in mind while you are building your own?
As a point of reference, ideally, I'm saying that the best DEX, in this case, our DEX is order book, right? It's not AMM. The best idea of order book DEXs are the traditional exchanges, so not Web3. So ideally, you want to go as close as possible to the very good user experience that without blockchain you normally have when you trade and you use exchanges, and that's where basically everybody, in my opinion, should aim if they are building an order book DEX. Because trying to be looking at the DEX in the Web3 means you're probably looking at an AMM DEX. And even if it's order book in some particular cases, the user experience is always less efficient and less good than the traditional exchange that spent decades in creating a good user experience. So what we're trying to do is to basically give the user experience similar to our Web2 as much as possible, of course, but at the same time not compromising about the security, the decentralization level of the platform.
So kind of like Coinbase experience for the Bitcoin degens. I like that.
Correct. Yes. So hopefully we will be able to deliver an experience for the average user that is so obvious that you don't need a big technical level of knowledge to interact. So you have the documentation available. You can check our code if you don't trust. You can see the blockchain activity, so nobody can actually fake stuff. And you can see that we cannot fake stuff because the script language, our logic that we put on the chain, doesn't allow us to do anything malicious. And so the user will just use it. We just go to the website, connect his wallet, and start trading. But at the same time, we also provide this level of permissionless and decentralization that is typical to blockchain, but this time on Bitcoin for the first time.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the last question because, we can't cover everything in the first episode, and, I want to have maybe next time somebody from the Rune space and, get down to the nitty gritty of each topics. But right, the title of this show is True DeFi on Bitcoin. Why are you excited about DeFi and Bitcoin?
Yes, so DeFi is the natural evolution, in my opinion, of the original philosophy of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is born as a currency that it cannot be censored, that you actually own your money, and that everybody can actually validate that the transactions are actually happening. So it's not nobody, no malicious actor can be in the middle and block, for example, censor somebody. And DeFi is the same idea in the financial world with contracts, which we call normally smart contracts. But the idea is to allow anybody that has the possibility to access innovative product that can allow you to improve his real world life. For example, getting loans, for example, being able to trade at better rate his currencies. In this case, we are talking about Bitcoin, BTC, and runes. But the whole idea is in general. What you want to do is to move your asset or leverage your assets without somebody that says yes or no to you, or checks if you are affiliated with somebody that they don't like, or something like this. So the idea is to give freedom and remove power from the entities that have too much. So it's not like replacing traditional finance. I don't think we are in a point of time where we can do that, but we can definitely rebalance the power of each entity. So the blockchain is like an entity on its own, but nobody is actually controlling it, and at least for the good blockchains. And this is where people are empowered more and can get more personal freedom in the management of the asset. They can choose.
Yeah, great. Raul, what's your excitement about the space?
Yeah, I would say mostly new possibilities. Why? If you think about traditional finance, how hard it is for a normal user in any country actually to get involved with financial tools, way of leverage maybe the assets or so on. It's not so easy. You have to learn so much stuff. You can do it on your own. You have to for sure interact with someone that is going to help you to do that transaction, whatever transaction it is. It could be a bank, it could be someone else, but on blockchain instead, the tools are there. Of course, you at first you need help to understand, like you need to study what you're doing and so on, but everyone is able to build their own strategy on DeFi, and they can do it without asking for permission, as Matteo was saying, without having to go to someone and say, I want to do this. I already have the strategy. Can I do it? Can you help me to do it? No, you have all the tools, you have all the experience. You can check and interact with DeFi in different blockchains. And right now, you are able to do it also on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I think like, being able to kind of do something on your own if you put the work, because this is great, we are all going to be able to do it, but you still need to put the work to learn about using these tools. So it's kind of like a proof of work finance, if we want to say. But no, it's super exciting. So we are going to have the opportunity to talk much more about the space, much more about the assets that are going to be able to be exchanged, trade in your platform, and there will be some interesting guests we are going to bring on, maybe some controversy, maybe some debate, but it's all good, I think, at the end, to get people involved and also understand as well what is the innovation about. So thank you for coming on today. This has been kind of like an introduction for our audience, but there will be much more that we are going to talk about. Anything else that you want to final thoughts, or anything that you want to say ahead of the next episode?
I would just to say that let's meet in Lisbon. We are going to be there, so
Yay, exactly.
It's going to be nice to meet the community finally.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We are all going to be in Lisbon, so if you are in the ordinal space, or even if you are not and you want to have financial freedom, just make sure that you reach out to us. We are going to be there, and Matteo and Raul, they are so excited to talk to anybody and to look for new partnerships and how together we can move this industry forward. And the FinancialFox has always been at the forefront of that. I'm always very passionate about innovation, and I'm glad that we have got some great Italians working on leading the way in Bitcoin is great. So save the day for Lisbon, 27 to 30 of May, and yes, and then stay tuned for the next episode. Bye guys.
Thanks a lot, Steffi.
Thank you, Stephanie. See you soon, everybody.